What if the most powerful story of sacrifice didn't end at the cross? What if the deepest pain in the Bible wasn't felt by the one on the cross, but by the one watching it happen? You've heard of Jesus, but have you truly heard Mary's side of the story? Today, you're going to discover a truth hidden in plain sight. The emotional suffering of a mother who gave birth to the Son of God, only to watch him die. Stay until the end, because once you see what Mary endured, your view of faith, love, and sacrifice may never be the same. The Bible is full of heroes, prophets, kings, and disciples, but one of the most silent yet most powerful figures is a woman, not just any woman, a mother who said yes to a divine mission without fully understanding the cost. Her name was Mary, and her journey is one of pain, love, silence, and divine purpose. This is not just a story about a biblical figure, it's a story about every mother who has ever suffered silently, every person who's been called by God and had to carry a cross they didn't choose. Today we'll walk through Mary's life, not just as the mother of Jesus, but as a symbol of faith under pressure. Mary was just a teenager when the angel appeared. She wasn't a queen, she wasn't from a powerful family. She was a poor, young girl from Nazareth. And yet, Gabriel tells her she is highly favored, that she would carry the Son of the Most High. Can you imagine the fear, the confusion? How do you explain to your parents, your fiancé, that you're pregnant with the Son of God? Mary doesn't argue. She simply says, "Let it be to me according to your word." That sentence changed everything. She didn't know the full weight of what was to come, but she trusted God, and that's what true faith looks like, obedience in the unknown. Mary was not only chosen by God, she was judged by people. Pregnant before marriage, in a conservative Jewish society, the whispers, the judgmental looks, people thinking she sinned when she was actually living out the holiest of missions. How many times do we judge what we don't understand? Mary knew the truth, but she stayed silent. And silence, that would become a constant in her life. When the time came for her to give birth, she wasn't in a palace. She wasn't surrounded by comfort or celebration. Mary gave birth on the floor of a stable, with animals around. No midwife, no doctor, just Joseph and her faith. Imagine bringing the Savior into the world in the most humble, forgotten place. Jesus didn't just come in humility, he was born into it. And Mary was there for every breath, every cry. The divine entered the world through the pain of childbirth, and a mother was the doorway. When Mary presented Jesus at the temple, an old man named Simeon gave her a chilling prophecy. "A sword will pierce your own soul too," Luke 2:35. That wasn't poetic, it was a warning. Mary would suffer, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, silently. And the sword, it would come in the form of betrayal, public shame, torture, and crucifixion, not to her, but to her son. Imagine hearing that, holding a baby in your arms, and knowing one day you'd watch him die and not be able to stop it. Soon after Jesus was born, Mary had to flee, not to visit family, but to escape a king who wanted to kill her child. Herod had issued a decree. Every baby boy under 2 years old must die. So Mary ran, with Joseph and Jesus, to Egypt, a foreign land, without stability, without community. Imagine being a mother, fleeing at night, holding your baby tight, praying he won't cry too loud. Every sound could be a soldier, every shadow a threat. That was the price of obedience. That was Mary's cross, long before the crucifixion. Years passed, Jesus grew, and as he began his ministry, Mary watched him be misunderstood, mocked, and rejected. He was accused of being a drunk, a blasphemer, a false prophet. Even his own family doubted him at times. But Mary, she remembered what the angel said. She held on to the promises. Still, it must have hurt to see your son walk into danger, to hear the crowds turning against him, to know he was telling the truth, and still be hated. Mary didn't stop him. She couldn't, because this wasn't her mission anymore, it was his. And then came the day, the nails, the crown of thorns, the crowd chanting, "Crucify him." Mary stood at the foot of the cross. She didn't faint. She didn't run. She stood, watching her son beaten, bleeding, gasping for breath. Is there anything worse than watching your own child die and being unable to save him? The prophecy of Simeon was fulfilled. The sword pierced her soul. Jesus looked down, and even in his agony, he honored her. "Woman, behold your son," he said to her, pointing to John. And to John, "Behold your mother." In his final moments, Jesus took care of Mary. She had carried him, and now he was carrying her, even in death. Mary mourned. She cried. She stayed with the disciples. And 3 days later, she saw the tomb was empty. The pain was real, but so was the victory. Her son had conquered death, and her silent suffering was now crowned with eternal purpose. Mary wasn't just Jesus' mother. She became a mother to the early church. She prayed with the disciples. She encouraged them, and her story inspired generations. Her obedience changed history. Her suffering gave birth to redemption. Mary's life was not easy. It was a path of pain, but also of glory. She teaches us that obedience sometimes hurts, but it always leads to purpose. If you've ever felt invisible, misunderstood, or overwhelmed, remember Mary. God sees you, God chose her, and He can choose you too. Like this video if it moved you. Subscribe for more powerful stories of faith. Leave a comment. What does Mary's story mean to you? And don't forget to check the pinned comment for bonus content.